Nigeria's energy industry has witnessed significant growth in the year 2024 amidst a number of challenges in some areas. The sector has enjoyed major positives ranging from the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt Refinery, increased daily output in oil production, large-scale reforms and other developments in gas production and utilization. Today, we reflect on NNPC Limited's contributions to the growth of the sector, its overall performance in 2024, the challenges and possible solutions as we look ahead into the new year. Hello there and welcome to the program. This is Energy and You, a show that brings you weekly developments in Nigeria's energy sector with a focus on NNPC Limited. I'm Egusa Igumbo. The Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company is back in operations. The refinery, with a capacity of 125,000 barrels of crude per day, started operations on Monday. This is in fulfillment of a promise made by NNPC Limited. The news comes just a few weeks after the restreaming of the Port Harcourt Refinery. President Bola Tinubu has expressed his profound joy at the reopening of the Warri Refinery. It described the restreaming of the refinery as another remarkable achievement in 2024, strengthening the hopes of Nigerians on his administration. President Tinubu expressed his administration's determination to ramp up local refining capacity and make Nigeria a hub for downstream industrial activities in Africa. He noted with confidence that with the refinery now operating at 60% capacity, his administration's comprehensive plan to ensure energy efficiency and security is entirely on course. He praised the Medekari-led management of NNPC for working hard to restore Nigeria's glory and pride as a major oil-producing country.
I must congratulate our team for their determination, their extreme belief that this company can restart this plant. And this has brought this result on the table in collaboration with our contractors and everyone in the company, including our retired staff. I would like to thank them and appreciate them that we have made history, that it is possible to start a plant that you deliberately shut down. It is possible, and we have proved this. Also, secondly, this plant has 3 stages. We have started the plant 1, which is, we call it Area 1, the fuels plant. It is able to produce AGO, kerosene, naphtha, and also a blend of fuel oil. And these are high-grade quality products that are required in the country, and we may also have a need to export them. So it's going to give us cash. This company will make money, and the promise of Mr. President that this country must be a net exporter of petroleum products is already happening.
The president enjoined NNPC to accelerate repair work on Kaduna Refinery and the 150,000 barrels per day second refinery in Port Harcourt to consolidate Nigeria's position as a global energy provider. With the rerunning of the Warri Refinery, there will be focus on producing and storing critical products including straight-run kerosene, automotive gas oil, as well as heavy and light naphtha. Thanks for staying with us. Now, 2024 has been a remarkable year for Nigeria's energy company, with modest achievements in oil and gas production, renewable energy investments, and infrastructure improvements, including the recent restreaming of the Port Harcourt Refinery after more than 20 years in comatose. How have these achievements shaped the energy industry in the last 12 months? Tonight, we are joined in the studio by 2 public affairs analysts, Dr. Lemi Urebe and Dr. Majid Dahiru, to review NNPC's performance. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, first, what's your general assessment of the energy sector in 2024? And how has NNPC's influence as a major key player in the industry shaped the general performance or the overall developments? Let me start with you, Dr. Lemi.
2024 is ending on a very high note, on a very positive note. When 2024 opened, it opened with a lot of promises, but expectations were not met until, of course, towards the end of the year, with the resurrection of the Port Harcourt Refinery. And that resurrection of the refinery has actually jump-started our hope of having the NNPC Limited actually function at the maximum potential. We can see how it has brought about a healthy rivalry even with the private refinery, the Dangote Refinery. And the effect is that we're having the pricing of the petrol deregulated at a level where there's hope that by 2025, when other refineries like the Warri Refinery and the Kaduna Refinery come on stream, that will now have enough supply to complement what the Dangote Refinery has and may therefore affect the pricing of petrol positively. So we are looking at a 2025 that gives us the renewed hope that Nigerians will be best served with better pricing, which will have a boomerang effect on the price of other products and the cost of living.
Now, Dr. Majid, quite a lot to look back on in 2024. I mean, just like Dr. Lemmy has said here, looking back, we've seen the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt Refinery. We've also seen huge financial gains by NNPC in 2024. We've also seen, quite a number of partnerships, deals signed by NNPC, and not forgetting also the increase in daily output of oil production in the last few months. So, but what in all of this, what's your major takeaway? Well, I mean, what stood out for you?
A number of things stood out, really. But the most important one will be the resuscitation of the old Port Harcourt Refinery, because it was like a mirage that will never be achieved in our energy security journey. And so once that came on stream earlier in the year and is producing, it has added, at least on the part of availability
Right.
and accessibility of energy product services to energy security metrics. So that is quite remarkable, because for a long time in my own adult life, we've been grappling with this problem of inability of Nigeria to refine its own products at home. So for a student refinery to have come on stream, I think it's a big kudos to the management of NNPC, because that's taking a lot of courage on the part of the leadership of that company to be able to commit the resources and manpower to bring on stream that refinery. And we also hear that any time from now, the Warri Refinery will come on stream as well.
Right.
The second Port Harcourt Refinery will come on stream, and plans are also underway to sustain the Kaduna Refinery. So for me, in addition to ramping up production from less than 1.5 million barrels per day to almost 2 million barrels per day, the coming on stream of the Port Harcourt Refinery is a major milestone achievement for the National Oil Company in the year 2024. Also, like you rightly pointed out, NNPC has adjusted quite well into the post-PIB era.
Right.
As a commercially viable national oil company that is profitable. So during the year 2024, NNPC declared profit. The accounts were audited, and that brought in a lot of revenue into the Federation account. And so hopefully we want to see them do better in the coming year, so that NNPC will become a leading multinational oil company that is state-owned, just like all other ones in the world, the Saudi Aramcos of this world, the Sino Oil of China, and so on and so forth.
So I'll stay with you on this. We've talked about the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt Refinery, which is a big leap for the Nigerian oil and gas sector. But what dynamic does this bring to the oil and gas sector, particularly for an energy company that is hoping to meet energy sufficiency and in an era where we are now fully deregulated?
Fully deregulated. First, the competition that is going to set in the deregulated market has been guaranteed by the NNPC's full participation, both in the mid and downstream sectors. And the impact is quite felt. For the first time, we saw a drop in price of PMS from above the 1,000 naira mark to below. That is because of the pricing competitiveness that was brought to by NNPC and its partners. And we're also seeing the prospects of ending scarcity once and for all. This is the 4th December, again, in my living memory, where we now have queues across the country. There's availability, there's accessibility, and hopefully with more competitive pricing mechanisms, we might achieve that very important aspect of national energy security, which is affordability. So that has been the impact of the coming on stream of the Port Harcourt Refinery. And we hope that when other refineries come on stream as well, and you have more availability coming from the NNPC side, that might saturate the market and force prices further downwards. So this for me is some of the positives of the overall policy of the regulation of the downstream sector. So NNPC is actually actualizing the vision and that strategy of the regulation by the president of the country. And that is what we have seen so far. And it's quite commendable. And we hope again that this is sustained. The problem we're going to have is sustainability.
Right.
And we hope that they have mechanisms in place to sustain this. So far, you had mixed feelings about the coming on stream of Port Refinery. But today, having sustainably been producing for many weeks and months now, nobody's talking about whether or not it was just a gimmick. We want to see this sustained over time. We want to show that refineries come on stream so that Nigeria can have self-sufficiency in its energy needs and requirements.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Lemmy, he has said quite a lot. Let me also get your view on this, really, on the Port Harcourt refinery and its impact on the oil and gas sector for 2024.
Yes, we've seen it that as circumspect as Nigerians were when it was announced that Port Harcourt Refinery had started with a lot of propaganda machinery deployed to make Nigerians not believe that this was real. We've seen it, operating. We've seen that it sustained it. We've seen that the Port Harcourt Refinery has contributed to the fact that we do not have gridlock at the petrol stations, queues, and all that. So that's fact that there's accessibility, there is availability. It's gratifying to see that the president and commander-in-chief has declared enormous support for the NNPC Limited and has directed that they do everything possible to ensure that Warri and Kaduna refineries operate. If we're having this amount of gains now where people can go for Christmas celebration without queues and with the products everywhere, then imagine if we have Warri and Kaduna also operating at maximum. So it's a lot of, in fact, 2025 has great expectations. And you even think about even the economic benefits to people around the Port Harcourt refinery, the Warri refinery, and the Kaduna refinery. A lot of jobs, a lot of informal people will also get a lot. Restaurants, vendors, a lot will be happening. So the economy will be boosted beyond the availability of fuel, beyond the fact of better pricing. People will have jobs around those territories. There will be economic activities. There will be a beehive like we're enjoying in Port Harcourt now. A tanker driver was talking about how excited he was that he didn't have to start driving all the way from Lagos to Port Harcourt in order to move petroleum products. Wow. So it's renewed hope indeed that 2025, the citizens will be best served. And we hope that this will eventually have a very good effect on the pricing so that Nigerians can begin to actually benefit from the beauty of having our state-owned refineries work at maximum capacity.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Lemmy, we saw a state of emergency imposed on the oil sector, which has now led to some sort of increase in daily outputs in our production from about 1.3, 1.4 million we started the year with to now about 1.8 million barrels a day.
Yes.
How would you say that NNPC has fared in terms of managing the security issues in the sector together with some of the policy decisions taken? How have these influenced some of these positives?
Yes, I've had the privilege of actually seeing some of the wonderful technology that has been deployed by the NNPC Limited to monitor installations, oil installations across the country. And the fact that they are working in synergy with even security operatives, civil defense, the army, everybody to make sure that there is safety. Of course, pipeline vandalization and oil theft across the world it's a global thing. It's a major concern. But I've seen that under this management of the NNPC Limited, there's been very concrete steps taken, especially with deployment of technology and working with security operatives. It used to be a real mess, a big loss to the country, but I've seen remarkable improvement. And this is because there is goodwill demonstrated, there's commitment on the part of not just the government, but the management of the NNPC Limited. And you cannot understate the importance of people who are committed to making it work and bringing succor to the people of Nigeria. So I only think that we would also be able to do more, boost it. You set higher targets. When you meet a target, you set bigger targets. We have the capacity as a country, the NNPC Limited has the capacity to actually do more than 2 million.
Taking off from where he stopped,
Yes.
NNPC is looking to go beyond 2 million barrels per day. But, I mean, from all that you've seen so far, what more do you think NNPC should be doing to be able to, get past these targets, in terms of sustainability? And how do we sustain this momentum? How should we be able to meet up with our OPEC quota?
Okay, the first thing to do is sustainability. We must sustain the security measures in place to safeguard pipelines and oil production and activities, which has been tremendous in the past few months, and you've seen the results. That needs to be sustained. Now, NNPC will need new collaborations and investments that can come in through joint ventures to operate new fields. That's already underway. Between May last year and the end of this year, I have it on good authority that the presidency, the Ministry of Petroleum, the NNPC and the NUPRC, working as one government, has been able to attract investment of upwards $50 billion into the sector. And most of these investments will come on stream early 2025. And this is going to increase oil production by as much as 1 million barrels per day. And in this regard, all NNPC needs to do is to simply stick to the rules of engagement and sustain all of the agreements it has reached with all these companies. But the federal government has a bigger role to play here. Because, for example, the OPO 245 is still problematic.
True.
Which holds prospect of about $20 billion investment from ENI. If the federal government is able to clear all of the legal conundrums surrounding that very lucrative oil asset, it will enable that inflow to come in, and that will boost oil production in Nigeria to levels never seen before. So I think the NNPC, the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the presidency, and of course the NPRs, working as one government, can achieve this. And once it is achieved, I see a progressive increment in the production of oil in Nigeria to a level that will really meet our revenue targets to fund our national budget.
We are the dynamic global energy company of choice, steering the course of Nigeria's biggest export industry. With years of commitment, delivering greater value, and improving lives, NNPC is transformed to better meet your everyday energy needs as the largest contributor to the Nigerian economy, generating clean, sustainable energy with integrity, excellence, and creating value for all stakeholders.
Energy for today, energy for tomorrow, energy for tomorrow. Come on, let's go.
You're still watching Energy and You. Let's take a look at the progress made in NNPC's ongoing war to end crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism.
The war on crude oil theft is still on, and the industry-wide security collaboration on hydrocarbon infrastructure continues to record remarkable progress. Between the 21st and 27th December 2024, a total of 126 incidents were recorded across the Niger Delta region. These records were possible by the joint effort of NNPC Limited's Command and Control Center, Shell Petroleum Development Company, Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, Oando PLC, Liquefied Natural Gas of Nigeria, Nigeria Customs Services, and government security agencies. On the 28th of December 2024, at exactly 4 a.m., a fire outbreak occurred at Well 13 in Oguta in Imo State, caused by an illegal connection made by vandals. The illegally connected pipe could not withstand the pressure, resulting in an explosion at the welded section of a 4-inch pipe. Another similar act was uncovered at Ikarama in Bayelsa State, in Ewoma and Global Kiri communities in Bayelsa State. Illegal connections on Oando pipelines were discovered. Other illegal connections were identified at West Boma in Bayelsa State and on Obiafu pipeline in Rivers State. Swift repairs were carried out on all affected pipelines to restore operations. Security operatives also dismantled illegal refinery camps at Bile, Igi 3, and Obiaku in Rivers State, Bisani in Bayelsa State, and Obuzo in Abia State. Illegal crude oil storage sites were exposed at various locations, including a massive site in Buguma.
As you can watch your screen, the bunkers are trying to resist us to set these tarpaulin storage ablaze.
Security forces faced resistance from the vandals. Additional sites were uncovered at Owu, Igi 3 in Rivers State, and Isebuoto in Delta State. 2 spills caused by vandalized pipelines were recorded this week. One at Akwa Odogwa in Rivers State and another at West Boma in Bayelsa State. On land, security forces intercepted and confiscated stolen crude oil being transported in a tanker and on bikes at Idejere Kingdom in Delta State and Ebocha in Rivers State. On water, wooden fiber boats loaded with stolen crude oil were seized at Obuzo and Ukwa in Abia State, Okoloma and Ayama in Rivers State. The week's incident spread across various corridors: 36 in the Central Corridor, 51 in the Eastern Corridor, 8 in the Western Corridor, and 31 in Deep Blue Water. A total of 26 suspects were arrested and handed over to government security agencies for further investigation. For NNPC Limited, there is no backing down on the war against crude oil theft until the menace is eradicated for good.
Now, as we wrap up the show, let's give you a summary of major international energy stories for the week. Oil prices edged down this week in thin holiday trade ahead of the year end as traders awaited more Chinese and US economic data. The data is to enable the assessment of growth in the world's 2 largest oil consumers. Brent crude futures eased 8 cents to $74.09 a barrel. South Africa's government says that the petrol pump price would increase by up to 19 cents a litre and the diesel price would rise by up to 10.50 cents a litre in January. The country's fuel prices are adjusted monthly due to factors including global oil prices and the rand exchange rates. Turkey's tax hikes for fuel and tobacco in 2025 will be set in a way that will not endanger the country's inflation plans. That's according to Treasury and Finance Minister Mehmet Simsek. Taxes on fuel and tobacco are increased each year based on a producer price index and have a major impact on inflation. Simsek told reporters that the government was determined to sustain the recent decline in inflation. He also said the country's foreign currency protected deposit scheme known as KKM will be terminated without creating any volatility in the markets. The central bank previously announced that it would end in 2025. Africa is experiencing a surge in energy development with both fossil fuel and renewable energy projects on the rise, as several countries across the continent are rapidly expanding their energy industries. The renewable energy capacity growth is driven by the development of utility-scale wind, solar, and geothermal projects in Egypt, Morocco, Kenya, and South Africa. 2/3 of Africa's installed wind and solar is currently situated in South Africa, Morocco, and Egypt, suggesting the need for greater investments in renewables in other parts of the region. And that's the show tonight. Thank you for investing your time with us all through the year 2024. We hope to continue to do this together in 2025. Happy holidays. If you missed any part of the show or previous episode, you can catch up by scanning the QR code on your screen now. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles to get updates of all the activities of NNPC Limited. I'm Erusa Igumbo. We'll see you again next time. And on behalf of all of us at NNPC Limited, we say Happy New Year.